Captain's log 240326. Most people don't get thrown off by big problems. They get thrown off course by little things. I went to go to the gym yesterday in the morning. My gym opens at 5 a.m. And so I was there, 5 to 5. And whoever was supposed to open the gym up was late. So um, I stayed for a little bit. I saw some people standing outside the door looking in. Hey, where y'all at? um, I wasn't doing that, but I, I waited for a little bit, and I think whatever, quarter after 5 rolls around, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go home and do what I can at home, to get ready for work, and then head to work. And it's funny how we talk ourselves out of doing things because whatever happens, some little thing happens, and that's all of a sudden your excuse for, hey, we're not going to the gym today. And the best part is then today I go to the gym in the morning and I'm the one who's running late, and I'm there at like whatever 10 after, quarter after anyway. So and then I'm heading in. uh yeah, it's just like you can just use these little excuses, and I see that at work sometimes too, and like just in all kinds of things. But like work's a problem because if you have deadlines and goals and things that you have to do, um you know whether or not you want to do it, you have to do it. Like there's going to be things that are shitty, there's going to be things that seem daunting, but you just have to do it. I worked with this dude, this Cuban guy, Dan the man, and his favorite line was "nothing to it but to do it," and that stuck with me because it's so true. Just like, hey, like, just get it done, do it. Like, don't think about it, do it. And yeah, it's the mindset you have to have. Like, it's we can talk ourselves out of things, and the reason that the little things end up screwing you over where the big things don't is because little things are decisions, are constant little decisions, and those decisions are end up being like little excuses you give yourself. So it's like, hey, something changed in the job and it's a pain in the butt. um you know I should do it now, but I decide to push it off, and then it becomes worse, and it becomes worse, and more of a pain in the ass. So if I just do it now, it would be shitty, but less shitty. And if you do that through like your life, that's like how things add up, and your life starts to break down. You haven't taken the garbage out, you haven't cleaned the house, you haven't done the dishes, all these things like pile up and add up and add up, and then it becomes a worse problem as you go on. And yeah, it's funny, like, I don't know, we avoid these things for some reason as humans, and um yeah, it's an odd thing. I think another thing that something else I was thinking about with this is, um like today, when I went this morning, I didn't have this grand idea of I'm gonna, whatever, do all these things. Didn't really know what I wanted to do when I got there. I didn't have a plan. I just, forced myself to go. I was tired, sore, um, and I ended up like doing front squats. So, um, you know, nothing crazy. I worked up to 225 and did like 4 sets of 225. I did a couple like warm up sets and a couple cool down sets with less. And I didn't do anything else. Like I walked on the treadmill, 5 minutes to warm up and 5 minutes to cool down, jetted out of there, get to work. But I was just thinking like, hey, that's such like a simple workout, but I still felt good about it. Like I still felt good. I still felt like I did something at least. And more than ever before, I've been, I don't want to say lenient, not lenient on myself, but I haven't been as hard on myself about not doing, all the things, not doing these whatever complicated workouts and trying to hit all the things and trying to make sure I get every different, type of workout in a week. I've just been like, hey, like I'm here to enjoy it. I'm here to exercise, have fun, try to get healthy, whatever. And like I've been like super hungry. Like, if you go back to the gym, you get like so hungry. And I had these grand illusions that I was gonna be eating like super clean and I'll just get like super jacked and ripped right away. Like I was like if only it worked that way. Or you just go to the gym and eat some canned tuna and you're like good to go. But I have been a lot easier on myself with the diet stuff too because I know I'm gonna be hungry. Um, my thing is I want to like try to eat home cooked meals as much as possible. And even this week, I haven't done too crazy with that because I had ordered some food as well, but or like went and picked up food, but I also made, I made some lunches and stuff. I made shepherd's pie. I threw together some tuna salad today, like just random like bacon and eggs and shit, whatever I had, um, so that I have more stuff to eat. And you know, I've been pretty good with that, just because I've been wanting to eat more stuff that I make. I have more time now, so it helps that way. And yeah, I just noticed like if you just do some of these things and don't make excuses about it, just like, hey, sometimes you don't want to cook, right? It's like, oh, what am I going to do tonight? There's always something you can whip up, like eggs or something that's like easy. But it's funny how we'll like not do that. We'll just decide not to. And you have these like multiple decisions that can add up. All of a sudden you don't cook, you know, you don't cook, and you don't have pre-made meals for the week, then you're eating like crap, and then you feel like crap and you're not going to the gym, et cetera, et cetera. Your girlfriend leaves you and you're broke and depressed. So yeah, it's you gotta like just do the stuff. You gotta plan to do the stuff. Um, it's funny story. I I wanted to. I don't know what I saw whatever stuff on Tim Hortons. Some of the cleanliness and some other things. So I like boycotting Tim Hortons. So I I've been like making coffee at home and trying to make sure I have whatever to eat, things like that. And I haven't, to be honest, like I haven't missed it before. I was like addicted, have to get my coffee, have to whatever, but I haven't missed it at all since I've been doing that. So I, yeah, if you just decide to do something and you follow through with it, all of a sudden it becomes part of your life and you can reshape some of those habits. But what you do in one area of life tends to translate to everywhere else. So it is good to practice those habits and practice doing that. And you're not going to be perfect, and don't expect yourself to be perfect with anything. If you're going to the gym and you just get to the gym and you, like I said before, walk on the treadmill, you're doing something that you didn't do before. Like you're already winning. Like getting there is a win. Getting dressed and going on the treadmill is a win, and then those wins pile up and you start doing more and more. Getting home and taking care of your lunch dishes and whatever other stuff that you have is a win. And you just like pile these wins up, and all of a sudden you're forming a habit where you're, you know, actually doing the stuff when you need to do it. Um, yeah, because and like perfect conditions are never gonna we're never gonna have perfect conditions for anything. You know, uh, that's kind of a fantasy. Like you think like, oh well, my work, everything's just gonna line up, and I'm gonna, all the dates are gonna be perfect, and we're gonna have everything, have all the material. It's all just gonna line up. But you kind of have to like plan for that, and you have to mitigate as things fall apart, as things that are out of your control happen. You have to mitigate for that. Like, you might not control the manpower, you might not control the rest of the trades, etc. um so you really have to, yeah, you really have to mitigate for those things and adapt and overcome them. Don't sit and use them as excuses, right? Like it's easy to say, well, I didn't have control of this, so it's not my fault. But you still have to take ownership of everything around you. So that's an important thing. And if you continue that trend where you're making, small excuses, um, in any place in life, it becomes part of your lifestyle. And then all of a sudden you're doing it for, everything. Things add up, they become bigger. Um, yeah. And like it can basically ruin your life. So, um, but yeah, like having that ability to adapt and overcome those little challenges and those speed bumps, it helps a lot. Um, that can look like anything, like, you know, like I said, you go to the gym, you're, whatever, you hurt your elbow at work. Well, there's other things. You can walk on the treadmill. You can, do whatever, lower body. It could be anything, but yeah, you just you got to like keep the momentum. You know, your sometimes your life's like the Titanic, and you're making these little decisions, and you don't see it, but it's turning the boat. And you can either be turning the boat away from the iceberg or turning the boat towards the iceberg, and you don't notice it. And sometimes if you're making bad decision and they add up, and all of a sudden you doesn't matter what kind of big decisions you make, at that point you're hitting the iceberg. So it's important to try to like build these up and try to accumulate good decisions, early on when you can. um Another example or analogy for that would be like your finances. If you're a young guy watching this, the better you do with your finances as a young dude, if you're investing, anything will exponentially help you as you get older. If you sit down and learn and have financial literacy as a young dude, like when you're my age, you're going to be set, you're going to be fine. You don't have to worry about things. It's kind of a shame. It's not just shame, it's kind of criminal that they don't teach that in school. So if you if you know anybody who's on the board for public school, give them shit for that, because every kid could learn that and basically, be okay in life. You would have people who are financially literate and actually have savings and all these things to help them in the hard times in life. Whereas now we have all these people who are, basically finding out the hard way that, hey, I should have done this earlier. But there's all kinds of different examples that I could give for that, where little decisions will move your life in big ways later on that you just don't know about. And these are things like I learned all of this the hard way. You know, my most of the things that I learned in life were unfortunately hard way and trial and error. And I've made every bad decision that you probably could make, apart from getting like a massive drug addiction or something, right? So um it's I I learned a lot from that and have the wisdom from that, but it's not something I recommend young dudes to like have to learn that way. Like if you listen to people who've done it and who've learned the hard way, then you can avoid some of that. You can avoid some of the pain and the extra effort that you have, all that stuff. You're still going to learn things. You're still going to have to learn things through life and trial and error, but you won't have to make the same the same mistakes that the people before you have made, or people like me who are telling you, hey, don't do this. um yeah, and it's yeah, but like if you're gonna take anything from this, not every day has to be like a massive win. um Sometimes the real wins is just like not letting small problems turn into like a full excuse. um if you can learn that, like you'll get better in the gym and you'll get better in the rest of life too. Yeah, so anyways, that's it for tonight. Delta out.